So, hi guys, we're back here for part 8 of our Football Managers experiment. As I said before in the last episode, it's been a while between each episode because I am playing Total War Attila and I'm completely obsessed with it, to be completely honest with you. So, we'll have a little, obviously we'll do what we normally do. We'll have a little look around the Premier League. We'll have a pop at Scotland, even though it's been a bit boring. I was really hoping Rangers could challenge up there, but they've not been able to knock Celtic off the top in the whole experiment so far, and we're now in 2029. So we're crack on, because I think we've had a Euros since our last episode. So let's quick look at the leagues. We've looked at each episode. Obviously, Germany's slipped out of that top three, and Spain's got in there. And it's not much difference there than the rest of it. So we'll go to the club competitions. We won't look at the Champions League just yet. Obviously, the European France winning it here, 3-0 against Germany in the final. And obviously, Spain won it last year. Scotland surprisingly won it in 2020. We'll have a little pop through the awards and see if any of our players, regenerated players have got into the team or anything. Obviously, they're all legends. I know Michael Ballack's a legend in the game. He's been brought in as a legend, and obviously, but most of these guys are. Obviously, the legends now are hopefully coming to the end of their careers and giving a chance for some of these reset players to get into the international setups. So that's we'll have a look at Golden Boot before we look at the dream team. So this Jean-Pierre Pipin, he's managed to get it the last two Euros, and that's Patrick Kluivert, 31 now. He's obviously got it this second, and Demis Nikolaidis. I've cited before. I'm terrible at pronouncing foreign names, so you'll have to bear with me with that. And we'll have a little look at the dream team. And Cristiano Ronaldo obviously making it into that the European dream team, and he's one of the reset players who's been at Sporting his whole career. I think that's. Oh, I can't quite scroll down to the screen. I've got it in, but I think that's Daniel Blind at the bottom. I believe that's the son, not his dad. But obviously, we'll get on to the Premier League and see who's been winning the Premier League over the last couple of seasons. So obviously, we'll start off here. Football of the year, Lionel Messi's got it for the last 4 years running now. So he's at RC. They signed him on a free transfer as well. It was absolutely brilliant. Have a little look at the Golden Gloves. David Schmeichel, David Seaman getting it. Top goal scorer, that's Didier Drogba. Now at Newcastle at the age of 32. Like Messi as well, getting it again for the second time. See by his bit he's there, he looks absolutely brilliant, doesn't he? I imagine these are going to be regens now, so we'll sort of skip past them. So we're not really looking at the regens, are we? We'll look at the reset players. So this was last year's team of the year. And obviously Messi's and Mario Götze, actually, I think to the reset players. Obviously Gerrard's reset, but I'd class him more as a legend in the game because he starts with absolutely phenomenal stats and he's already straight away into the first teams. He doesn't start in the under 18s or anything. Let's get back to last season, have a little look. So Viduka's one of the ones who's reset. Obviously, we know that he's been part of that Chelsea team for a good while now. Juan Mata actually made it into the team of the year last year. He's obviously at Chelsea. He's another reset player. Messi. Drogba resets at the very start, but obviously he's a legend in the game, and obviously he's at Newcastle now. So whatever ones can we have a little look at here? Player of the year. Have a look at that. Beckham, Bremer. So Beckham's knocking on a bit. He's now 32. So have a look at who's won it over the last couple of seasons. We'll refresh the last episode. So Man United winning that episode and QPR actually getting second. We'll go to seasons we haven't seen yet. So Man United again winning it, just there on goal difference. Only just. Obviously we've got, it's quite close that season actually really. In that top five sort of bracket. So not many points between them. We'll skip again to this last season, what we've just been played, and Leeds are back into that top four, that top bracket. United again, United have won the last good few seasons now. So Man City have only just scraped relegation there by 1 point, really. Villa has slipped down considerably. Now that gives you just. We'll have a quick little bip at Scotland. Obviously, I said earlier in the episode that it's been pretty damn boring up there, but it's worth having a look just in case. You never know if Rangers have actually managed to do it for that 1 year. But it's Celtic all the way, isn't it? Really, since we started the experiment and the Rangers have got back in the Scottish Premiership, and as we can see, season just 27, 28 have won it again and again. Rangers not even getting close anymore. It's getting pretty damn boring up there in Scotland. And obviously we're having a little blip on the Champions League. So we saw last time when we were on this screen, we saw Barcelona won it. So have a quick look at the past winners. AC Milan won it the season before, and then QPR actually managed it to get to the Champions League semi-finals the season before, and then Barcelona and Arsenal getting it the season just gone. So since we started the experiment, really, Ajax have won it once, Bayern have only won it once, Barcelona now won it twice, Inter Milan have won it 3 times, Real Madrid 3 times, AC Milan 3 times, and Marseille have gone in there once. So we've not actually seen an English club win it since we've started this experiment at all. They're getting in the semis quite regularly, really, but obviously they're not ever winning it. No one's ever really pushed it and won it. And QPR a bit of surprise being there, but again, the season before we had Pat Palmer in the semi-finals into 2027. Obviously, this whole experiment's about the shortlist and finding the careers of the reset players, so we'll get straight onto that now. We'll skip right to the top. We'll have a little gander down the list like we have done in previous episodes. So right at the top here, Pablo Amiri's still there at Arsenal. He's actually wanted, he's unsettled. Have they actually played him? Barely, as we can expect on this experiment. Got loads of games with West Ham and then gone to Arsenal. Hardly play for them at all. And yeah, so this is what the experiment's about, seeing what happens with these players. And we've noticed that lots of these guys are going to teams and hardly getting played, where others are going places and really getting the game time and developing really nice. Eric, man, I think he was at Barcelona last time we looked. Now 30, obviously a lot older than he was. Sorry, he'd been to Barcelona, went to Sampdoria, then QPR, and back to Argentina, sorry. And now he's at West Ham for 7.5. That was that pretty average season from last year. See, Mascherano spent some time in Europe. He's been back there now at Flamengo for quite a while. Diego Milito. So I'm sure he's been around a little bit. He's been at Stoke for quite a while. Went to Arsenal, went to Stoke, did quite fairly well at Stoke. And then he's moved to Schalke and he's obviously started becoming a bit of a regular for him there. Carlos Tevez is again. He's potted around quite a bit in his career. We'll have a little at Sampdoria for a while. He's getting the goals there at Sampdoria. It's the pain on the right wing by the look of things. Again, he started off in Argentina. He went to Portugal, Holland. He went to Brazil for quite a while, and he's come to the Italian league, and he seems to be making a bit of a name for himself. They're playing on the right. His stats look fairly decent, like they normally do. Higuain, has he been able to keep it up at Chelsea? He was doing pretty well at Southampton. He's been there good damn few years now, and he's been really consistent for them. They've just been relegated as well, so I'm surprised he's he's not even wanted by anyone. Sergio Aguero, a player who really wasn't getting in the team that much. He played quite a few games from last season, but he's not getting the goals for him at all. Only 7 goals in 32 appearances is pretty shocking for Aguero. Angel Di Maria is available on a free transfer. He's 31 now, still looks like a decent player. I'd probably sign him up for a team like that. He's at Barcelona after the Man City. Really, he should never have left Man City. He's at least getting some game time there. He's gone to Barcelona and done shocking for him, really. He's hardly played at all. We'll have a look at Messi's stats because we know he's been doing really well. And obviously his abilities now shot right up to what the Messi we know him normally in the game. And he's been at Arsenal from a free. Since signing for Arsenal, he's been absolutely... The last 5 seasons, every season getting above an 8 is absolutely brilliant. He's not scored under 20 goals for 7 seasons for him now. So he's fit straight into that Arsenal squad, and he's really banging him in for them. Um, However, there's one we looked at in the past, and again, as I know people have noticed, brought him or looked at him on Football Manager before, and he's 30 now, but he's never really got that, the speed and the physicality as he normally does in the game. So obviously he starts in Austria on this one, and he spent all his time in the Premier League and Championship really for Hull and Crystal Palace. So he didn't go through the Barca youth system like he did in real life. So he hasn't got them physical attributes that you'd expect from him. Eden Hazard, he's probably one of the best players in the game. To be fair, on the vanilla version without the Legends pack, and he's obviously a really good player still, but he's not developed. He doesn't seem to be that world class player that he normally is. He's been getting some good ratings for Lille. He's played for him his whole career, because obviously that's where he starts, and where Chelsea brought him from. Oscar and Kaka are both now at Monaco. I noticed Kaka had moved there quite, a good few seasons ago. Been really good, really consistent for him. He moved from Bordeaux, so he stayed in the French league, and he has gone to Italy. Obviously, that's where he made his name really at AC Milan. In real life, he's absolutely brilliant career for them. In real life and stuff, he was absolute. He's one of the footballers from my generation, sort of thing. Have a little look after actually, because I think he got to Juventus at some point of his career, and obviously Monaco brought him for Juventus, who hardly played him, and he's getting quite a bit there, obviously. Playing with the right, he might be back up or something to Kaká or there. Robinho is one of the, I'm not going to go into his history, but he's one of them players that really hasn't developed at all in the game. So you see Neymar's still at Flamengo. He's looking really good. His stats is he's probably not as good as he normally is. He obviously joined them from a free from Ajax, and look at that goal scoring record. Absolutely phenomenal. I'm so really, really surprised he's not being snapped up by a big European team again. Because obviously he went to Ajax, didn't play him, and he's gone there and absolutely kicked on and made a real name for himself. Sure, Lucas Levley had moved to Man City in our last episode. Gone to Man City, he had a fairly average season for him in the second season. Didn't even play that third season. Obviously, the Seinfeld made a massive loss on him, really. I'm gonna have a little look at Alex here because when he was in the game and he played at Chelsea, I rate him as a centre back. I think he's a brilliant guy. He doesn't get the justice I think he deserves. He was sorry for Chelsea. I'm not sure about his career at Paris Saint-Germain, but I really, he's a brilliant centre back in the Premier League when he was here in real life. But quite a long time at Feyenoord. Good ratings. Went to QPR. Obviously, didn't quite settle that well in the Premier League on this alternative world, and now he's gone back to Brazil to Intercontinental. This is one. We'll have a we'll have a little see if Berbatov's been pretty consistent every time we looked at him. But again, he's not been that 20 goal a year striker. Obviously, they look like they're dropping him back now. He's knocking on. Some of these guys are getting into their 30s and stuff now. So we're only an episode or two away from the end, really. Vidal, he's 31 now. He's been at Man City for quite a while. Pretty much most of the experiment, and he's just never, he's been, they paid 33 million for him. How many seasons? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It's 14 seasons of getting average ratings above 7.3s every year. That was a brilliant bit of business there, picking him up at a young age. Little look at Eto. So, he's not really getting the goals for Southampton, is he? At all. He's been there a few years now. We dropped down to the Championship and doing a lot better. Falco has been one of those. He was an absolute monster when he was in Brazil. I'm sure he went to PSG. That is pretty shocking, really. the goals he was getting at Flamengo, moved to Ajax, barely got in the squad at all. And when he did, he scored the goals. Obviously, he went to PSV, played in the first season. Second season, he was just like a bit part role. And obviously, he's moved to Intercontinental for 6 million. 50 got 34 goals and 50 appearances and 10 assists is brilliant. So that's like a goal every other game. It's that amazing for a striker, but it's still pretty good. You wouldn't mind him in your squad. Well, James Rodriguez, I remember it. I can't remember. I think it might be in 2013 or 12. So I've done quite well with Villa, and snapping up on real cheap, and it absolutely revolutionised my squad. So I always really like him as a player on the game because of what he did for me on that Villa career. But and he's a brilliant player in real life. But he's come to Europe early in his career and he's spent his whole time in Brazil really. And he's done really well in Brazil. They actually brought him for the same value that they brought him for. They didn't make any money or loss on him. And he's just gone and just been consistent through his whole career in Brazil. There's a little peep at John Campbell. He's a young player on the game. Not too bad. His whole time at PSV after joining from Southampton, and he's never really got in. He's had seasons in the reserves, I suppose, but Luka Modric is a player I'm surprised he's still at Dynamo. He's been there since the start of the experiment, and he's never ever been snapped up by a big club or anything. He's got some pretty average rating. He seems to be dropping off a little bit. And again, Manzuka, again another really good player who's just been floating around. He's just been in the Croatian league, just like this. Oh, he's actually moved from Dynamo to Rijeka, or however you're going to pronounce it, and he's consistently 20 goals apart from that one season. I mean, he basically scored a goal every game he played that season. But most seasons he scored a goal every game or whatever. It's really surprised he's not been snatched by a big one. Rosicki, he spent years at United just in the reserves, I think, just not playing football. And to Parma, shit for them, a bit blunt. And I went to French and didn't do overly great for them. It's a real contrast between how some of these players have developed and from the game time and everything. I can't believe Jimmy Armfield is still going. Obviously, I'll put him on the list at the start because he starts at Blackpool, and I was kind of hoping they might have been able to build around him and whatnot. But he left Blackpool after going down to League One to Leverkusen. Joined Palmer on a free, and he's got to West Ham, and he's still going, and he's still a brilliant player, really. But it's what you expect from the legends in the game. We'll have a little look at Stan because he spent his whole career for a change at this time at QPR, and he's played consistently played for him, and he's persistently got really good ratings, really, for a winger. He's probably not looking as good as he normally looks. Maybe I don't know. He's developed a little differently. Probably being played in different positions. Danny Welbeck's a player who's been at QPR for quite a while. We looked in the last episode. Him and Keane had been formed a pretty good partnership up front, and obviously he's been really consistent. The excellent couple of seasons in 26-7 and the 27-8 season. His goal scoring. Phil Jones, he was at QPR, but again, he's probably played on the right side of the defence in this game. He's developed quite a bit differently than he normally does in the game. West Ham have snapped him for fairly cheap, really. Then again, he dropped off, I think, for QPR by the look of it a bit. Rio Ferdinand was last at Real Madrid, and he was barely getting the team there. And he's signed to Barcelona a free transfer and still only made 11 appearances for him. Quite a good rating. I was thinking when he did play for Madrid, he got really good ratings, but he just didn't really get in the first team. No, again, he doesn't start at Man United. He never started at Man United in real life, but I've noticed with this some of the legends start at the clubs that they sort of really made a name for themselves, sort of thing. So obviously he starts at United on this one. He went to Ajax. 28 million really, and they didn't even play him in the first team. Yeah, this is the thing with some of these reset players. They're really not getting the first team. So Rooney's obviously he's been playing on the left wing for Notts Forest, and again he's pretty. They must have played him up front for that season. 26 goals, 35 appearances. It's the best goals tally he's got over his whole career, really. So when he's meant to be our top English player, it obviously shows the develop how being at certain clubs and their youth systems and how they develop and stuff. Sturridge starts at Man City on this. He's been there his whole career. But again, he's really not got in the first team. But when he has, he's not been overly impressive. David, he was at United last time we looked on this. He really did play for. He signed for free. He played 5 games, scored 3 goals, then got a really good bit of business by United, really getting for free, and then getting 12 million for him after a season. Obviously, he's gone to Juventus. And he's been a big part of their team. He's obviously getting the goals you'd expect from David Villa. Loriente, again, he's a player who's moved around quite a bit in his career. I think he's been at Granada for quite a while. Obviously, Bilbao's selling him for quite low value, buying him back for a considerable amount, and letting go for free after hardly playing him. He's gone Granada being pretty much their main striker, and he's been getting very good goals for them. Yes, they're at Roma. Obviously, I think he got into the Barca team a bit, but none of the Barca boys are still there now, I don't think. They're all at different clubs. He signed for a free transfer from Barcelona to Rome, and he's gone on to Rome and he's doing fairly well for him. So if it's a scream about or anything. So PK's Busquets in Biscuits was sorry Busquets PK and Busquets Biscuits or whatever you want to call him. Been at Stoke for quite a while. Fabregas is one of them players that we've looked at. He's just really not developed at all as well as he normally does. To the potential that he normally has in the game. David Silva, I'm sure he went to Barcelona for a while. Look at David Silva, he went a couple of years at Barcelona, barely played for him as you'd imagine. And he's gone to Stuttgart and he's been getting quite a bit. So Ajax have brought Ajax have wasted so much money. They've brought so many of these reset players and just not even played them and just let them rot and then just sold them on for not even a fifth of the value that they brought them for. So it's been, this is what the experiment's been about. It's just like, what happens to these players when they don't get international experience and they spend lots of time in the youth team. So Sheffield United, he's got a very good season for him. He didn't even play for United after a £10 million move from Roma. And he did well last season for him. Pretty good. Obviously, he's not exactly got the abilities as he normally has because he's never had that game time. Xavi has actually been at Lazio for quite a while now. He's been there for a good few years, but again, he's nothing really. He's not getting those abilities, stats, and ratings that Xavi would normally get at all in the game. He's been pretty average. Frank Ribbinghouse at Huddersfield, so he's get a player who hasn't developed as well as he should have in the game. He didn't really play. He played a rotation player at Southampton and then moved to Huddersfield this season. So again, he's not had the illustrious career that he has in real life, and again, he's not really developed as well as he normally does in the game. Paul Pogba's one of the players who's really, got them abilities that that he has usually in the vanilla version of the game about the Legends pack. And he's been getting lots of game time. He left United obviously, and he's been at Lazio, and he's been playing most games for him really. And he's getting really good ratings. The opposite end of the scale, straight underneath him, was Carmen Benzema. really a player who's just not even got close to his normal ability. Or Nicholas Anelka. If Philip Excess has spent, I think he was there in the last episode of Sheffield Wednesday. And again, he's gone there and been a bit part role, even at Sheffield Wednesday. And he's a centre back I rate myself. He doesn't. Again, he really looks poor. Really does not look that good. Mario Gomez. He's available on a free. So where's he been released from? Dortmund. He's potted around Germany quite a bit. He's never really got in any first team anywhere. We saw Mario Götze, obviously, and he's got his team of the year and stuff. So we have a little gander at his stats. He spent time at Gorman. Signed for Kelstrom on a free. So he dropped down, in reputability in the German leagues in club stature, really. And then he went to Turkey. Did really well in Turkey, really. Especially that first season. 21 goals and 20 assists. Average rate of 8.1. 16 and 16. He had a little off season that season, but really, you still wouldn't argue with those sort of statistics in your team, would you? Obviously, gone to Arsenal. He did pretty good there. He didn't get as many goals, but he's done very good for Arsenal, getting that 7.9 over the whole season, 34 games. But look at his abilities. So again, he's looking roughly about the same as he normally looks. Tony Cross, valuable on a free. Again, he's a player who probably doesn't look as good as he normally does. He's not really had a great career either, really, by the look of his abilities. He's not been brilliant. Philip Lahm was the West Ham in our last episode. Yeah, he went to a side for, I'll say, for quite a considerable fee, really. He's got to be pretty consistent for them as well, as what he was at West Ham in the Premier League. But again, he's probably one of the players who's sort of hitting them sort of abilities that you'd expect from him. Obviously moved to Villa and got young player of the season. So I think he's just been really consistent for us over the years. For a free transfer as well, that's brilliant. Chiellini at QPR, I think we looked at him in the last episode. Pirlo, he's been at Juventus quite a while now, moving from Roma. He's dropping off a bit by the look of things a little bit, but he's 31 now. But if he's anything like he is in real life on this alternate world, he'll just keep going and going and going and just be just awesome all the time. Have a look how Mario Balotelli's gotten a bit actually. He didn't start too well. He's not been amazing, has he really? I just think he's a comical character. He's as a footballer, he's a bit full of himself, but he's amusing to watch. So Wesley Sneijder there at Roma. I can't remember if he was there the last episode or not. He might have probably just moved there. Yeah, he's done all right. He's not amazing, is he? A lot of these guys are. Here's Daniel Blind. So obviously this is the son, and it is the one who got in. I think it was the Euros. Was it the Champions League Team of the Year stuff? So yeah, I don't think he looks as good as he normally does. Look at his stats. He's been very consistent since going to Panathinaikos. He's really picked it up, and he's obviously moved to France. And he's done really well there by the look of things. Now this guy, he's not a reset player or anything. I think he's 16, 17 at the start of the game, even on the vanilla version. But I think I added him on the list just to have a look at him and see how he gets on. And he's 32 on this. Yeah, a couple of seasons at Villa by the look of things. Didn't really get in that much, didn't score that many. He's not really had a prolific career, really. I think I've seen him obviously on playthroughs and stuff and that, and I think I signed him once. I did a Chelsea one, and I think I signed him, and he went on to do absolutely fantastic for me about 7, 8 seasons in. I'm gonna have a quick look at Christopher's year. Actually, he's 31 now. He's just one who's I've just had a look at. Cause I've signed quite a bit. I do know how it develops, but it's just interesting to see how it develops without you. You know, they always develop differently without you actually playing the game. So when you play it yourself, you know that some players develop differently depending on how you're playing, where you're playing. Chesney is valuable on a free actually. He's obviously looking a really good keeper. He's 30 now. And he moved to PSV from a free from Arsenal. He just really didn't get that much look of in the first team. I'm surprised he still looks good though. He looks like a really good keeper. He's wanted. He's wanted by a good few clubs. No one. Leeds probably being the biggest club there. Anyway, here we go. Chris, he's obviously become a sporting legend, really. He's only got 15 goals for his country senior level, but obviously we've seen his under 21 history. Um, you know, he looks good. He's been very, very consistent for him over the years. He's a player that I'm really surprised didn't get snapped up by a bigger club because, it's Ronaldo. I don't think he's probably got the speed that he normally has in the game. But everything else is just exactly the same. He's just awesome as you can imagine, and I think it's probably because Sporting's reputability is a lot higher than it normally is in the game. They probably managed to keep hold of him, but he's only on 45k a week. So I'm really, really surprised that no one's took advantage and grabbed hold of him and got him in a big team. You can see Ivanovic again, someone who's never ever moved. So I'm gonna have a little. I had it so I said Mislosevic or Mislosevic as he's been written as a legend of the game. Obviously, I'm an ex-Villa fan, and when I very first started, like when I started to see my first game and stuff, he was playing up front with Dwight York, so I added him on just to have a look and see if he actually went anywhere. He looks, statistically he looks good. Oh, I know from my Villa days, he just missed every opportunity really. Savo Milosevic, Zoltan, a bit more. People probably think looking at Zoltan all the time, but he's one of them players who's just like completely sort of got his full abilities because he's had all that game time. He's never been sort of under 18s or anything like that. Mr. Suarez still at Bordeaux. And there's Gareth Bale still at Southampton. He's looking really good. They've just been relegated, so I'm surprised no one's really coming through. Got no interest whatsoever. He's on 120k a week at Southampton. I think I said I was going to have a quick little look at I might have a quick little look at United team. Just I want to see who they've got in there because they've had to have a bit of a rebuild with all the legends coming out of the game. But it's still looking fairly familiar. I'd imagine a lot of some of the guys they're bringing in actually to fill in the slots are regens that they've developed because obviously they've got a really good youth system. So I bet they haven't really spent much money over the seasons, really. Maybe I think it was the Man City squad I was going to have a quick little look at, wasn't it? Sorry. So obviously these guys have lost quite a few players in the first season because of the reset. You still got Sturridge in there. See Vidal, we know Vidal in there, and Mason. Imagine most of these are regens. Imagine with the spending power they've got, they've probably been able to bring in legends and stuff. And by the look of it, they have the old squad. They've only just scraped relegation, really. Fairly poor going for them. But yeah, that wraps up part 8. And obviously, it'll probably be next week when I get on to part 9. It's I'm not rushing through these anymore. I'm sort of drilling it here, and I'm sort of playing through a Bristol City campaign myself at the moment on this. So this has become sort of a bit of a backbench sort of thing. But I will get the rest of the episodes out over the next couple of weeks and sort of finish the experiment off for those people who have been interested and the few people who have been following it. Thanks very much for following, and I'll see you next episode.